Hello, welcome to the Greek channel. Today we'll be learning about ancient Greece. Greece is located in Europe in the Balkan Peninsula, which was very mountainous, heavily forested, acting as a natural barrier. The peninsula is surrounded by three major waterways: the Aegean Sea, the Black Sea, and the Mediterranean Sea. And the Dardanelles connects the Aegean Sea to other waterways. This tree could have been used to build a ship, to travel, and to trade in the seas. Greece had three major cities. Athens was the most important city in Greece. It was big in trade and education. And Sparta focused more on warriors than anything else. And Troy, where they were very rich through trade and tax, and also home to the Trojan War.
Hi, I'm Kate President. This is Crash Course Mini. Today we'll be talking about ancient Greece. We will also be talking about the Persian Wars. The Persian Wars started in 499 BC. And it helped Athens and Sparta be kind of friends because they really hated Persia and they just basically wanted them all to die. Athens gained the Aegean Sea because they won the battles of Marathon and Salamis. Anyway, the war ended in 449 BC with Athens winning and keeping their independence. Good for them. Anyway, there was also another war called the Peloponnesian War. The Peloponnesian War started in 431 BC. That's when the city-states decided they were going to clash. So Sparta and Athens went war, and they were like, because they were so greedy, they just wanted Greece all for themselves. However, it really didn't help anything because the culture just diminished itself and the political power kind of just weakened altogether. Between these two wars was the age of Pericles. Now, the man Pericles helped strengthen democracy, but it really only helped the men because they were the only ones who actually participated in democracy because everyone else just didn't have rights. He also rebuilt Athens after the Persian Wars. Now let's switch to camera 2. Hey, camera 2, you're looking pretty cool over there. Now let's talk about their government. Their government was a democracy, but it wasn't really a democracy because a democracy is where everything's ruled by the people. But the only people who had power were the free-born males. So they were really the only people. The women and the slaves and the foreigners, they had no rights whatsoever. Just the males. They just did everything on their own. So, wasn't a great time to be alive. Let's go back to camera 1, because I really don't like it over here. Hey, camera 1, looking good. Today we're only going to talk about a few leaders, only a few leaders were actually important. Everyone else was just stupid. The first one is Philip II. He conquered most of Greece, and he was from Macedonia. Macedonia. Anyway, he was pretty much important because he conquered most of Greece, and that was a big deal back then. And then came Alexander the Great. Woo! And his empire stretched from Greece to Egypt. He was a pretty cool dude. Anyway, he also came with the Hellenistic age, where like the cultures kind of swirled together in a big concoction. And this was really spread through trade, where just things were passed on and passed off, and everything just changed. So that was pretty much all from ancient Greece. So this is Katie Preziotti with Crash Course. Goodbye.
Hey Aphrodite, what are you doing?
Just looking on Zeus. OMG,
Oh
Apollo is single. He is totally like the god of sun, and he's a chariot racer.
That's my brother.
I'll just keep looking. OMG, Zeus just changed his relationship status to single.
What?
Yeah, I heard he broke up with Hera.
The god of the gods?
My daddy!
Yeah, I heard it was with his sister. Very scandalous.
Oh my gosh. Zeus and his lightning bolt. Woo! Woo.
Guys, just shut up. That's my dad. He gave birth to me. In his head.
Okay, whatever. Okay, so girls, types. How about you, Athena?
Well, I like a guy that's smart, and he likes to read books, and he's really sensitive on the inside.
Oh, so the boring guys?
What about you, Aphrodite?
I like the guy who's muscular and, like, hot.
Oh, so this stupid guy.
Okay.
You know what? How about you, Artemis?
Well, I really like a guy who loves nature and camping, but he has to be able to shoot a bow and arrow.
How did the mountainous terrain both help and hinder the development of the city-states of ancient Greece?
It like helped because like I don't know, something to do with like mountains, and it was like a border natural barrier. And it like hindered because it like separated like the city states and all that crap, like a bad breakup or something. And also there was like little farmland because the mountains weren't very farmlandy, so.
How were the Greek cities designed to promote civic and commercial life?
Ancient Greeks built the Acropolis. The Acropolis attracted many things. They attracted tourists, they attracted merchants, and they attracted businesses all on that Acropolis, giving the government a lot more profit. And in times of war, those people booked it to the Acropolis for safety. This attracted many things, and many people in ancient Greece. All that Acropolis did much.
What prompted the colonization of ancient Greece?
It was like really like overpopulated because a lot of people were having babies and stuff like that, and and also they were looking for like farmland that was like farmable because you know the mountain stuff, like I said last time. Yeah, so that's why they were colonized.
Explain to me the agriculture of ancient Greece.
Agriculture in ancient Greece is pretty hard. Farmers had to go to the countryside because ancient Greece is pretty mountainous. Can't farm with them mountains. And many of the ancient Greeks traded with the farmers to get the farm stuff. Farming, like I said before, is pretty rare in ancient Greece. Pretty rare.
What helped the spread of the Hellenistic culture through ancient Greece?
Well, it spread through like trade and commerce, I guess, whatever that means. And this dude, like Alexander, he was apparently really great because they called him Alexander the Great. And yeah, he like blended the culture stuff like that.
What did barter shift to?
Well, barter changed to coins. And when that changed, there was a constant price on everything and a constant profit for the people, which brought in huge amounts of money for the government. Now, when this changed, many things were available and people were able to get new things.
Aeschylus wrote over 80 plays. His most famous plays was the trilogy of Oresteia. Now Sophocles, he wrote about 100 plays, and his most famous play was the three tragedies of Oedipus the King and Antigone.
Homer, a blind man, one of the most famous Greek writers, wrote the two most epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, both about the Trojan War.
Herodotus, known as the father of history, he traveled through most of the known world and wrote a lot about the Persian War. He also worked with Sophocles. Thucydides, one of the greatest historians, wrote the history of the Peloponnesian War. His first works recorded political and moral analysis of the nation's war policies.
Vinides, an Athenian sculptor who created the statue of Athena in the Parthenon, which was 38 feet and made of pure gold.
There are three different types of columns. There's Doric, which are really plain and simple, Ionic, which has the scrolls on top, and Corinthian, which are elegantly decorated. Only really rich people had these types of columns, but you can see columns throughout ancient Greece.
Archimedes created the Archimedean principle and also invented the Archimedean screw, which was an instrument for raising water.
Hippocrates, the father of medicine, studied the human body to learn more about illnesses and symptoms. His 4 rules were good rest, diet, fresh air, and the natural healing process. Go.
Euclid was a very famous mathematician. He is famous for his elements, his 13 books of geometry, shapes, lines, and numbers. Pythagoras, who studied mathematics and astronomy, had very interesting religious beliefs that spread through Egypt. Socrates was a famous philosopher. He was known to question everything, which is now known as the Socratic method. His famous quote is, "There's only one good, knowledge, and only one evil, ignorance."
Plato, also a famous philosopher who studied with Socrates and created the Academy in 387 BC. His famous quote is, "Philosophy begins in wonder."
Aristotle was the brightest student of Plato's Academy. In 335 BC, he opened up Lyceum school and taught Alexander the Great and invented the method of arguing.
This is an oligarchy! This is ruled by a small group of military leaders! It's a rigid social class structure, and the strongest survive. The others, we throw them off a mountain. This is our society. We are militaristic. We are aggressive, and we will not stop fighting! This is Sparta! This is Sparta!
Wait, cut.
Who are you?
Your statement is completely false.
Says who?
Although your story takes place in Sparta, this technically isn't Sparta. We're filming the movie in Athens, Greece.
And although Sparta may be an oligarchy, Athens isn't one at this moment. To be governmentally correct, we started out as a monarchy. Of course, that didn't work due to the excessive power belonging to the kings rather than the people. So we switched to an aristocracy, and for a little bit, we were an oligarchy. Then somehow now we are tyranny, for a little while. But now we are democracy, not an oligarchy by all means. Okay, so let me get this straight. So you're telling us that our government was once bad when you were into tyranny? That's great.
Our tyranny was not what you think it was. In fact, we had two specific leaders that made incredible contributions in both political and economic reforms. In approximately 621 BC, a Greek lawmaker named Draco wrote Greece's very first legal code. Without this tyrant, well, all contracts and property ownerships would be unstable and out of control. And this trusted Solon, chosen by the aristocrats themselves, was a tyrant like no other. He outlawed debt slavery and created the essential concept in which any citizen could bring charges against wrongdoers. As if this wasn't enough, he also stabilized Athens economically by initiating a profitable overseas trade and demand for products. And besides, it's not like we're a tyranny anymore. Actually, a few days ago, we were introduced into a direct democracy, which, if you don't know, is a form of government in which citizens rule directly, not through representatives. This is an important legacy of Periclean Athens.
Precisely. That's where our role as free adult male citizens was created. Today we serve in the assembly located in our Acropolis, where public debates take place and citizens from ages 18 and over vote on and purpose laws directly.
So, with that said, you need to get your facts straight.
Yeah. I think it's just gonna kill you now rather than later.
What?